Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor podcast. Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor. Hello, all, and welcome back to the Devon Taylor podcast, where we dive deep into the stories and strategies that help us live more authentically and powerfully in today's world. Now, let's be real. Social media is one of the biggest tools we have for connection, but it can also be the most intimidating. How do you show up online in ways that are real, relatable, and still help you grow your brand or your business? Today's guest has mastered that balance. She is a #1 best-selling author, a 25-year media veteran who's worked with giants like America Online and Microsoft, and the winner of the 2025 Women Podcasters Award for Best Broadcaster. She's also helped countless entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and creatives amplify their voices and become go-to authorities in their industries. So I'm so excited to welcome to the podcast, Christine Blosdale. Hello.
Hi. Thanks, Devon. Thank you for having me. I'm super happy about being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I feel like my guests are going to resonate with today's episode because a lot of us struggle with social media and finding our voices, but you've mastered it and you've kind of found a balance. So I kind of want to just start off, like, how did you get into your line of work and what called you to it?
Yes. So, when I was young, many, many moons ago, as they say, I wanted to I've always wanted to be a teacher because the people that really helped me thrive when I was young were teachers. And especially that awkward age of going through elementary school into junior high school is terrifying. I would never, I wouldn't want to go back and do it again, but I had a really wonderful teacher that helped me. And so I went to college, I went to university there in Southern California, and I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher. And I went through all the years and everything. And then I found out how much they pay you as a beginning teacher. Right. And what, like 2 years, you're just, and I just said, no, I don't think I can do that. And then I was just struggling and looking for different ways. And I ended up, I was in San Diego at the time. And so I ended up doing some fitness coaching because that was kind of easy for me to do. And I had that one-on-one, that wonderful relationship that you build with clients one-on-one at a really young age. And then I was just being very creative. And as a hobby, I was writing, and I wrote for a really cool little gay magazine in West Hollywood back in the day. And I wrote music reviews. And I thought that was my thing back then. And I wrote it, though, actually through a cartoon, through a character. It wasn't through myself. I decided to write through this character because who's Christine Blosdale? Who cares about Christine Blosdale? But it was this character named Beatbox Betty. And Beatbox Betty was my imaginary character that was sort of like a Hedda Hopper of her time, martini toting, a little buzzed, anatomically incorrect, tiny little waist, huge hips, a big, like.
Wow. Right. Yeah. Wow. No, it makes sense.
Sorry about that. I got booted off.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. So what I was saying was that I think that's what's special about your story is that you found, even with your character, like a blend of being very diverse for a vast age group, and for a lot of content creators, like even myself, I find it hard to find that balance. And so for me, when I'm trying to put content out, I find it hard to be super authentic. And so that's kind of what I wanted to ask you first before we get into the nitty gritty of everything. What does authenticity mean to you when it comes to social media and personal branding?
Yeah. So that's when, I was successful writing through a character which would not be authentic necessarily, other than the humor, because I wrote she had a really wicked sense of humor, and a biting character. But when I was doing radio, the powerful thing about audio in general, radio or podcasts, is that now we're not talking about the video version of our podcasts that we see on YouTube and things, but we're talking about just the pure podcast platform or radio, is that you can't see me. So you can't judge me by what I'm wearing or if I have a nose ring or if I have tattoos, you can only really hear my voice and feel my intention. And so when I take those dramatic pauses, if someone says something really powerful and I stop for a moment and I really absorb what they just said, people can feel that. So it's a very intimate art form. You're only using your ears, you're not using your eyeballs, right? So I think when I transferred from doing the writing and things like that, and then I went into broadcasting, people were able to feel me and they connected with me. And also, I made sure that I was extremely authentic. That meant so if I goofed up, if I made a mistake or if something went wrong, I didn't just try and hide it, and say, "Oh, we're all perfect over here." But like I would actually let the audience in on it, and I would say something. Um, a lot of times we would have a guest on and their phone connection was bad and it kept dropping, right? We keep dropping. And so, and you could hear when I've heard other show announcers when that happens, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna, and it's like I know what's happening. I know, and instead of just saying, well, we're having really bad phone problems with this person, let's switch it up. Let's talk. Let's take listener phone calls. Let's talk about something else. They would just be panicking. So I think that authenticity, though, that being a real human is being rewarded more and more because we see it, Devon. We see it now on the public stage. We see this whole lifestyles of the rich and famous. We see Hollywood crumbling. We see politics crumbling. We can smell a lie now. It took us a while, but we can smell it. We know that desperation or scarcity mindset, but we also know when we're being, fooled,
Too. Yeah.
more and more, and now it's kind of quaint. Now you're like, oh, you're adorable for lying. But so we're craving that connection and relatability. I love to let people know that, and being authentic is not just being just vulnerable to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's to connect with your potential clients or your audience. And there's many ways that we can do that. And there's many platforms with technology now. We can do so much, but it's that authenticity is going to be rewarded. It is now being rewarded more and more.
Yeah, I see it. And I feel that's why I've been able to kind of accumulate the kind of guests that I've had on the show. It's because they're naturally coming across, the Devon Taylor podcast and tuning in themselves and saying, I want to be a part of that. And that feels so special to even be a part of, to say the least. But you've worked in media for 25 years. What shifts have you noticed in how authenticity is perceived online from the early days of
Mm.
AOL to now? Because I know when I I had my experiences on AOL, and I
You're too young for that. No.
no, I think that's my era because I remember being in the chat rooms. I mean, I remember AOL music. I remember the little dial-up messages you got when you signed
That
on.
horrible screeching sound when you
Yeah, I remember it all, and it's so funny how advanced we've become. But like you said, I feel like there's so much good coming from it as well because we can smell bullshit from a mile away versus like not knowing and not being in the know because you don't have a computer or AOL access or whatever it may be. But what differences have you noticed?
we've my gosh. It used to be that if you wanted to write that book, you'd have to go through a publisher, right? Or get an agent and And now with technology, I can self-publish today. I can take our conversation we're having here, Devin. I can throw it into a chat GPT or an AI program and not make it a transcript, but make it an interesting um, blog, let's say, and I could take that interview and I could throw it into a chapter in a book. I can publish that today in a couple hours and market it. I mean, yeah, that's just one thing. Then we got this thing, it's like a film crew in our pocket, which is our phones. The technology is such that the cameras are amazing. Even the microphone is great. Although I like to have my own microphone attached to the phone. But you've got a film crew here, and then you've got editing tools. You know, you can use CapCut. It's just ridiculous. And back in the day, you could not do any of that stuff. So it's really opened up, and this is what I love about it. It's opened up our creativity. It's allowed for a creator economy, which we didn't have before. And we all learned with COVID, we need to be, we can't just rely on our jobs, or we can't just rely on working for somebody else. Sometimes we need to actually like do our own thing so
Yep.
that we have that security. And nothing is 100% secure. But there was a renaissance. There was a huge explosion of people going from a job working for someone or a company to starting their own business. It all happened during COVID. And so there was this explosion of creativity. And we're seeing now, I mean, just people being able to express themselves and to show their expert authority in whatever field it is. And they have all these tools now. Many of them are free. So you don't have to have a lot of money. Before, you had to have a lot of money for people to see you and to, or your product or your service. Now you just be a little clever and you can get the word out. So I'm excited. I'm very happy about that transition.
Me too. I think it's like, this podcast wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it. But, I think it all started with the creativity that, I hate to say it, but like Facebook and MySpace and all of those early apps that were there that kind of have helped inspire the Canvas or the CapCuts that we're using today. But I've noticed that there's like an oversaturation, like, obviously, because if there's more resources, people are going to take them. But I feel like a lot of people are confusing authenticity with oversharing. How can we
Hmm.
find a balance between the two?
Yes. So, it all depends on the person, right? It depends on your profession. It depends on who you are. I have always my style of coaching has always been simple, easy, and fun. I like to have fun. I don't say that I'm a funny coach, but I like to have fun with my clients. And so I put out content so that they know really my personality, so that they're not shocked when they have that discovery call with me and they go, "Oh, I thought you were this, that." No, people know right away. And even on my website, if you go to my website, the very first thing that plays is a video and it shows you exactly who I am. So there's no surprises in there, right? My style is very informal. And again, I like to keep things simple and easy for my clients so that they become successful at it. But there's other people who are in business who have there's a different persona or there's a different style that they have. So it really depends on that style. But I like the authenticity. Here's an example. I just saw it today on TikTok, which by the way is my favorite platform. I love TikTok. It has become the news station creation, funny, weird, go down the rabbit hole
Mhm.
space way more than Facebook and LinkedIn is got its purpose, but it's not that. But TikTok is just like my favorite thing. So I was scrolling today as I do, blah, 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 and I came across this video where it was this woman who was getting ready for her performance in the UK of 101 Dalmatians. She played Sydney Christmas. She won Britain's Got Talent a little while ago, and she landed the gig of Cruella de Vil. W- Many people know who Cruella de Vil is, but what was so beautiful, it wasn't just a video of her performing Cruella de Vil on stage with all the makeup and everything. It was her getting ready. So it was a behind the scenes of her putting on, the cap and the makeup, and she was just funny, right? So she could have given us a video of her performance, right, as Cruella, all made up, but it was more interesting for me to know her personality, and she's adorable, by the way. Sydney, if you're listening, um, she's just adorable. And it's short takes. It's just short snippets of her putting on, her Cruella de Vil outfit and her little cute little comments. Now that's a behind the scenes thing, and people would go, "Oh, but she's not ready. She's not all in her character." It doesn't matter. That right there, I started following her. I was like, "That's it," because she's showing the good, bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
And I love that. Again, I think that is a great piece of authenticity, doing behind the scenes stuff. And I tell that, but if I have a client who's an artist and they go, "How can I make, TikToks or reels about, my paintings?" I do them and they're done. I'm like, "Do a video of you making painting." There's a guy who has a TikTok channel, and all he does is he takes a scalpel and a raw egg, and he's peeling off the shell of this raw egg with the scalpel. This guy's got so many followers. I said, if he can do that, come on now.
Right. Well, I think we often get, and I love that you said that. I think we often get caught up in this idea that we have to be perfect. You know,
Mm.
I'm gonna admit it. I'm a victim of this. I often feel like there's only one version that the online space can see of me. If they see a different one, then I'm in trouble. Like, what? Why? Why? I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but um, yeah,
No, we want the real Devon, and the real Devon is a mixture of things, is professional, is funny, is, caring. Um, you know, I I've done videos, very vulnerable videos. I mean, I haven't done one lately where I was in this kind of condition, but I not too long ago, it was a year ago, I had top surgery, right? It's a double mastectomy is basically is what it is. But I chose it. I chose it. It wasn't from cancer or anything like that. But coming out of surgery and you're not feeling good. It's like you got ran over by a truck. But I wanted to show a bit of the process and for the people to know that this was something that I chose to do. And for the few people in the audience who are considering it or who want to do this, it was my way of also saying, it's okay. And I was not in the best spirits. I was hurting. But I wanted to let people know I was going to give them a little bit of day by day progress. So it's okay, I think, to be authentic, but and you want to choose your authenticity wisely as well. Um, I think when we're talking about if you're if you have a family and you have little kids, I would be very careful. I would never. I don't personally wouldn't put my little kids on social media just because it's kooky, crazy world out there every day. There's more and more things, so I would kind of keep that private and protect them. But when it comes to myself showing up, then I'm all there,
yeah.
100%.
Well, that's pretty vulnerable for you to share too. And what made you feel called to do that in order, to journey?
Well, because I myself identify as being non-binary, gender fluid, and I did not see, I still don't see a whole lot of representation of that, even in the LGBTQ community. I never market myself as as a queer coach or, someone who's only for the LGBTQ community. But I also just didn't see that. I didn't see people like myself represented that much. And so I wanted to say that it's okay. I have a friend of ours whose daughter was considering transitioning from female to male, and she's very young. And I said to her, if that's what you really feel deep down, then hold on to that and express that to your mom. But I said, you don't have to choose either one or the other.
Yeah.
I said, and she looked at me like, what? I said, I'm gender fluid. I'm non-binary. I embrace both my masculine and my feminine parts of myself. And in fact, in Native American culture, it's the two spirits, right?
Yep.
And I like all of those aspects of me, and I don't want to necessarily claim one this or that. I like to be the blend of who I am. I believe because I've had so many past lives. I believe I've been a man, a woman, an old lady, a soldier. I know I look really good in a mustache and beard. I just know that. So being that it, and also because people aren't used to that, it's like it's either black or white, it's left or right, you're a boy or a girl. And so when you throw into that, you know, that mix, that thing, it can be, people can be like, no, that's not right. Or there might be somebody in the audience who is the same way and they just never had anybody that would, they could connect with. When I first came out, like when I was 20 years old, when I came out as gay, there was nobody. There was no Ellen. There was no Rosie. There was nobody. So the worst thing in the world was to be that, right? I was like, no, because the few people that I did see, you know, our brothers in the community, they were getting beat up or they were getting killed. And so I was like, no, that's too dangerous to even think about that. But then you have to be true to yourself. And that's what I say to my clients too. You need to be true to yourself. I have one client who's transgendered, and she came out when she was 67 years old. So imagine growing up in America as a little 8-year-old boy being told you need to knock off this stuff about being a girl, and if not, electroshock therapy for you. Okay. So you stuff it and you hide it. And now finally well, now she's in her early 70s, but she finally is living her life and she's helping others right now live their life. So that's an authenticity that is just, it's brave, way braver than me, very,
Pioneer.
very brave.
Very, very, yeah, just pioneer energy to me. Like you guys are not afraid to stand up in your truth. And because you're doing that, you're inspiring so many people around you, even me in this moment, because
Oh, thank you.
I, yeah, I struggled with my sexuality all my life, even up until now. And there's a part of me that doesn't believe that I deserve a relationship because of some of the things that I've heard, when I was a child. And to hear the story of your client, and what they might have gone through, and to finally being able to say that I'm just going to be me is beautiful because we all deserve that, and the space to be ourselves.
It's like taking really uncomfortable shoes off.
Yeah.
Like uncomfortable shoes that have been too tight, that were ugly, and you had to wear them all your life, and then you finally get to take those off. And I grew up in Los Angeles, so also I was surrounded by a multicultural. Uh, I I had friends from all different backgrounds, and I was raised as a child from my mother to appreciate and respect all people from all different religions, backgrounds, races, socioeconomic. She always said, you never know. Always treat people with kindness and respect because you never know how that person might be very important in your life, or you don't know what they've gone through. And so I was raised that way. And to see today what's happening in the United States, I'm here in Australia. I've been here for 5 years now, but to see what's happening in the United States right now, it breaks my heart because that's not America. That is not the America that I knew. Where
It's
would we be without our gay brothers and sisters? Holy smoke. Everybody would be walking around with some ugly haircuts and some horrible, you know. I mean, all of the style and the humor and you can't. And it's the same thing with our brothers and sisters from Mexico and South America. And that's what makes America great. It is the melting pot. We're supposed to bring people from different cultures into our hearts, and they're sharing their culture with us.
yeah.
I was watching a TikTok the other day, and this woman, she's a really thick Mexican accent. She said, she's like, all you MAGAs, all you people who want to deport all of us, you are never allowed to have another margarita. You cannot have a burrito. You cannot. I just was like, oh my God. But yeah, we got that's got to stop. What's happening in the U.S. has got to stop.
It's pretty crazy, and I'm hoping, it's hard to pay attention to what's going on because something new is happening every single day.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a lot, and you're in Australia, so thank God you're not not exactly here having to feel the effects of it. But it's definitely there's a shift in the air, I would say, and a lot of people have taken to Trump's message and agreed with it, and a lot of people haven't. And you see a lot of just discourse in the streets, and it's really sad. But I mean,
Well, and then now there's rumblings. I've heard that there's rumblings that they're going to try and overturn the same-sex marriage.
mhm.
My wife and I got married in America. So what does that mean if it happens? We're not really married? Uh, you
What is
know
that?
what? Our
What does that even feel like to hear that? Because I'm not married, but I would love to get married.
it's it, it's cruel. You've got someone who's a known uh pedophile who is in jail. They moved her to a lesser, to a cushy place, and she's basically lying so that she can get out of prison, um, you know, praising the dictator. And what go after those people, don't go after loving couples who've take care of each other. That's the other thing. It's like I just don't understand it. It's just cruel. It's a cruel thing to do. Same thing with the deportations and ripping kids out of their mom's arms. That's just cruel, Or sending people who've been in this country, they were born in this country, and because their parents came here, they've been here 20, 30 years, and then they're grabbed off the streets, terrorized, and sent to a country that they've never been. They're speaking they speak a language there that they don't understand. That's cruel. Don't be cruel anymore. Come on now. Oh my God.
Like, how do we even, I mean, he had his term the first time, and, a lot happened then, but now I feel like it's even more intense. And I heard that in Washington that, obviously they have the National Guard out there, but they're thinking of doing the same thing in other states, Chicago, I think it was. And so my first thought is, how do we even come back from this? How do we find some kind of hope, some kind of guiding light? How do we find our way out of something that's so, like you said, so cruel, and to me so dark, it feels.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know, because nothing sticks on him. He's like Teflon. Nothing, you know? I know we jumped way off of our topic, but I felt that like it really needed to be said because um especially America, there's so many people from around the world look up to America, look up to Americans, not the government, okay, but to individual Americans. And we have the brain power and the heart and the soul to really make a difference in the world. But it's like we've got somebody's boot on our neck, every single time we're trying to make a difference, and we're trying to improve the lives of people. That's the thing. That's the kooky thing. It's just the world is upside down when it comes to that. And so something has to happen. I don't know. Aliens need to come from outer space. I don't know. Just beam them all up out of here. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I
Well, I
hope
think
it happens quick.
I was gonna say, I think you've kind of like, at least found a way to master what we can do in all of this noise is, like we've been talking about being authentic to yourself and your message.
Yes.
And I think even with all of this negative energy that's going on, you're still, coming out and being yourself and telling your story. How can we all do that? What would your advice to anyone that's listening that, may be feeling stuck in sharing their voice, but they want to?
Create that content that resonates with you. You may be someone who is really gifted at writing, then write those blogs, those books. You might be someone who would like to have your own podcast show to promote the work something that you're passionate about. It's easier now than ever to do that. If you need guidance, work with a coach, work with somebody that you feel comfortable with. But, share your truth. The times of us being shy and quiet and, oh, what will people think? All of that. We need to get past that, because there's so much that you can do to impact your community, your state, your government, your country, all of those different things. But we need to really shine right now. And so I encourage people, of course I love the TikToks. So I do love, using video as a tool, because it's a very powerful tool. Video, you can see somebody's eyes, you can see them when they're talking, you can get a feel for them. Um, and there's a lot of creative things that you can do with that. So it depends on your platform, what you feel comfortable with. But I like to say it's just important that you show up and you do it. Take action. I hate to say, just do it, but that phrase does mean a lot now. Is you can't just dream about it anymore. You need to actually take action and do it. And even just take baby steps. It might be just, well, let me try this. Let me see how it feels. Let me put that coat on and see if it feels good. If it feels good, then do more of it. But if you're like completely lost and you really need some guidance, I'd say work with a mentor or a coach that can guide you and can save you some frustration and time and energy and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see, I know I sent the list of questions with authenticity heading or social media authenticity heading in the next 5 years. But where do you just see social media heading in the next 5 years?
Mhm. I think it's gonna get more interactive. I think it's gonna get, we went from television programming and radio programming, right, where information and entertainment was fed to us. And for a long time, like on television, we only had like 5 or 4 channels or something, right? And then it exploded and we got more, we got streaming. But this idea of things being programmed at you is going away. And we are choosing what we want. We're choosing what podcasts we want to listen to. We're choosing what kind of movies or content we want, especially on social media, what type of content we want to learn. If you looked at at my feed, it's kind of like a little it's very eclectic, right? I mean, I've got every I've got all kinds of different things coming up on my feed. Um, but we're able to, for the first time, direct what we want to consume. And so I think that's huge. And then I think it's going to get more interactive. That's why those lives are so popular as well. When people and I have not done many. I've done very few lives, but I want to do more where you're interacting with people and you have that communication back and forth. And I think it's going to get more. I think there's going to be more of that coming.
Well, you're talking about
And
TikTok.
technology is gonna make it crazy, you know?
Yeah. You're talking about TikTok lives, right?
TikTok lives, yeah.
Those are I've just got the access to do that, and those are so confusing to me. It's so, like you said, interactive.
It's weird because in the beginning, you're just talking to yourself. There's nobody in. Somebody comes in, they're gone. Okay. Once you build up a following, when you have sort of a regular following and you get past those uncomfortable first set lives where there's nobody there, then people will start coming. But you gotta also let people know. You can't just pop up on their screen live. You know, you just say, "Hey, Tuesday, at noon Pacific time, I'm going on live. You can join me. Come on." Then your followers will go, "Oh, okay. I'll put an alarm for that." Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what I need to start doing is putting it out there that I'm gonna go live, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you. I'll follow you on
Yeah.
TikTok.
I haven't posted in a little bit. I took a little bit of a social media break because that's my thing. Is I get overwhelmed by trying to, I think I like get caught up in the perfect image thing. So then I have to take a break and all that stuff. But
Oh no, stop that.
I know, and I'm gonna take your advice, and I'm gonna be a lot more authentic in my content and be more open with what I'm sharing. Obviously, I have kids, so I'm gonna take your advice on that as well because I've heard some things about having your kids on social media, and the things that people are doing are just crazy. So,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah,
yeah.
but someone that's listening that may feel nervous about putting themselves out there, what would be your encouragement to take the first authentic step?
Well, especially if you have a business, if you're a coach or a consultant or someone who relies on clients for your living, you absolutely need to get over that. Some people have imposter syndrome, and I work with clients. I don't say I specialize in that, but I have a lot of clients that they have that, and so we work through that, ways and strategies to get over that. Because if that's holding you back, then you're not going to communicate your message. You're not going to communicate clearly. All that's going to be felt by that audience is that fear. So we want to get rid of that. And then also we want to just really tap into what your brand is. Your brand is you. And so you really want to nail down your branding, who you are. There's a couple different ways that I do that with clients, and fun ways that we do that. And then realize that if you don't show up, don't even think about it as yourself. Like don't think about how you look and how you're going to be perceived. Think about the fact that if you don't show up, that person that you say you want to help, right? The client that you want to help, they're not getting that help. And so do it for them, right? Do it for the people that you say that you want to help and guide and service. Do it for them. Don't do it for yourself, do it for them. Because every time you show up, you're giving permission for somebody else to show up as well
Mm.
and to come out of that fear model, right? So do it in baby steps. It's okay. And don't worry about being perfect because nobody's perfect. Nobody, we are not into the Kardashian isms anymore. We want real, we want raw, we want relatable, and we want authentic. And if you can just tap into that day by day, little bit by little bit, you'll see you'll see your channel grow and you'll see those connections start to happen. So just try that. And if you're having trouble, you can always reach out to me.
Mhm. I love that. I wanted to ask you, as you were talking, I was just kind of, you're so powerful, and I just feel you're not afraid of anything. Was there a moment that happened for you, where it switched for you, or like,
I've had a few near death experiences,
mm,
and I'm not afraid. I'm also 61. Or I'll be 61 this year. I'm 60. So, you get to a certain point in your life, like in your 20s, you're trying to please everybody. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't feel right, but okay. In your 30s, you're like, I've got to hustle and grind, and all this. And then when you go past, I think it was when I hit 50, 55. I just was like, no, this is I'm just gonna say what it is. This is how I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, okay. I don't. I, I think you just reach a certain point, and I've seen it in elderly. I've seen it especially like in elderly women. They're like, nah, this is who I am. You know, there's no apologies for it. But yeah, I've experienced a few near death experiences, and it was like one of the most beautiful, amazing things. The tough thing is living. The tough thing is being on this weird planet with these people and concepts and religion and dogma and all that stuff. And that's the tough part. So I'm not afraid. I'm not somebody who walks around with that fear. And if I can get through that, doing a podcast show or showing up on TikTok is easy.
yeah, no, yeah. When you put it like that, that definitely puts a lot of perspective on it, and you're definitely a warrior. So I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you, Devon. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
No, I know that the audience will be able to pull a lot from this conversation, and even, some of the personal stuff that we talked about. We're all going through it, and everyone is experiencing a really dark time right now, as far as, just seeing the world in its state. So, thank you for sharing your perspective, and just, shedding some light on how we can find a way through all of this. But I did have a few more questions before I let you go. I did
Yeah.
Before you go, I wanted to ask if you could say one thing to any influencer, any podcaster, any creative that's out there that is ready to go, but they just haven't, pushed the button yet. What would that be?
I would say, well, first of all, book a free call with me because then I can help you avoid wasting time and energy running down a rabbit hole. That's important. But I have something at the bottom of each page of my website, and it says, remember this: if you're not seen and heard, you're not hired.
Hmm.
And people go, "Oh," and it's true. If you're stuck in your basement and you're the best thing since sliced bread, but you do not do videos, you do not write your blogs, you do not post on social media, you do not send out emails, or you're just like, somebody's going to find me one day. They're going to walk down the street and they're going to knock on my door and they're going to say, "Oh my God, you're just the most amazing thing. Please let me throw money at you." That's not going to happen. You have to be seen and you have to be heard. So write those books, create those podcasts, create those videos, and don't worry about offending anybody or what are people going to think. Just get it out there. Just get it out there. Because you never know who's going to see your stuff. You never know who's going to be tickled by it, and you'd be shocked. Down the road, you'll be shocked at who was supporting you and who was watching you. Like, going, I've been watching your videos, I've been listening to your podcast, and I think you're amazing, and I think I'd like to work with you.
Mhm. I will say, that's been my experience. I did not
Yep,
expect people to reach out in the ways that they have, and, when I'm like, "How'd you find me?" "Oh, I watch your podcast." "Oh." That's, like, the best feeling,
that
anyone
is the best
can.
feeling, isn't it?
It's so great, and it's rewarding, because you feel like when you are putting yourself out there, and you're doing it, and you're doing it, and it didn't start off with a million views or anything like that, but, as I've gone, I've gotten a lot of, response, and it's one of the most rewarding feelings, because there are days where, you don't think you're gonna get anything, or you're not gonna be seen at all, and, for putting yourself out there, you are. So to
Yeah, and I mean, I found you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I said now we found each other, so
I know.
I'm gonna follow you now and watch you on TikTok, so
Come to Australia too. Come
yeah, I
on.
would
You
love to. That's so funny. I've always wanted to be in Australia, and I just got my passport, so that makes this happen.
Mm, yes. Come to Australia.
You gotta get out of
Yes.
America for a
Get
little.
out of America. Come on. Maybe we'll find you a nice husband here.
Right,
I
oh,
sound like a
yes,
mom.
please,
I sound
please.
like a I sound like a Jewish mom. We're gonna find you a good man here.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Okay. So last questions. I know you had told me before we met that you had a gift for our listeners. How can they grab that free gift and connect with you online? Obviously, we're going to leave
Yes.
all of your information in the show notes. So if anyone wants
Yes.
a free consultation with her, you're more than welcome to go into the show notes and find that information. But like you'd
Well,
also,
I'd like to, and I don't do. I've never done this before with any of my books, but since we kind of we did kind of go off a little bit off topic, and we were talking about important things that were happening in America. Um, they can. I'll give you the link so that they can get my latest book.
yeah,
It'll be in electronic form, so which is really good because all of the links, so the resources and tools that I use, they're clickable, so they can click on them and they can have access. But it's called the Social Media and Branding Survival Guide: Digital Marketing So Irresistible Even Your Ex Will Want to Follow You. It's done in that kind of a humorous, and it's a fun read too. That's why I'm very proud of this book. But there's links, there's all kinds of resources and tools that are in the book, and I'd like to gift that to your audience so they can have that. They can download it right away and start, utilizing some of these amazing things. Most of them that are on here are free, so it's a great free resource for people. And they can get that at the link that you provide. And it's only available through that link too, folks. You can't, if you go to my website, which is expertauthoritycoach.com, you can see all my programs and you can book that discovery call with me, that free call, but you can't get the free book. So you have to do it through Devon's link.
yay! Thank you. That's a
Yay!
Everyone, yes, please, 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 if you would like the free book, go into the show notes and you can download it.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted last words, anything that you'd like to leave the audience with before I let you go. I do wanted, before you go, I wanted to say I really do appreciate you. I really do appreciate having this interview. And I'd love to have you come back, to be quite honest, because you sent me a lot of
You're welcome to. Yeah. I would love
talk.
to. I would love to come back and we can talk about all kinds of different things. Um, yeah, I really want to encourage you as that as that really awkward kid that I was and super shy, and I had all those same feelings that you have about worrying about what people are going to think, or if they're going to make fun of me, or they think that I'm stupid, or any of those things. And, we all at some point maybe have felt that. I really want to encourage you as this person who's now, 60 years old, who's got all these years of experience, underneath my belt. It's worth it when you just go outside of your comfort zone, stretch yourself a little bit, and know that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall. That's how we learn. That's how we learn to ride a bike. That's how we learn to hone our craft. I can't tell you how many times I've messed up and I've gone, oh, that's horrible. Let me try again.
Yeah.
Let me try again. Let me get up and try again. So please don't give up. There's genius within all of us. And if you have a passion for something, then you have the ability to become an expert authority at it. And then you write your own ticket, right? So that's what I really want to encourage people. Don't give up and don't be afraid to try. It's okay. It's okay if you fall.
Thank you for that. This came at a perfect time because this is even hitting me.
Oh,
Oh, thank
God.
you. I'm like, I don't want to cry. Ah. Thank you so much, Christine, for being here. And thank you so much for just sharing your message, your free gift,
Yeah.
your book, the social media and branding survival guide. Can you show it one more time just so that everyone can see it? I
Yeah. Yeah.
love it.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There we go. Boom, the bestseller. Thank you so much. And for anyone that wants to follow Christine, like I said, you can go down to the show notes. We're going to have all of the links for you to follow her on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you may choose. But also, please don't forget to book a free consultation if you guys are interested and you guys
Yes.
you heard. Okay.
I would love to talk to your audience, to members of your audience, and they can do that super easy. Just go to their website, expertauthoritycoach.com. There's links everywhere there to book that free call, and I would be happy to have a conversation.
All right. And I know I
Thank
got
you,
some
Devon.
entrepreneurs in there, so don't y'all, wait. Gotta click that
And
link.
Devon, you can
Do it.
call too. You can book a call with me too.
Shout out to because obviously we spoke a lot about the insecurities that come with being on social media, and a lot of what you're saying resonates with me. So I might just be one of your clients too. So
Come on.
bring everybody.
And then you'll be all prepped and ready to come to Australia. You see, that's my
Yeah.
little plan. It's my master plan. Thanks
Okay,
again,
we're gonna have
Devon.
to
I
connect.
appreciate
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much again, and until next time, guys. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Icarus here.
And Amelia.
And I'm here to tell you if you'd like to join our brand new adventure. Go to devontaylorauthor.com to learn more.
And check out the cool items like the new bucket hat.
Yeah, and so much more. See you guys there.